Before architecture had a name, before there were blueprints or builders, there was just us, humans, searching for a place to belong. Imagine a world without walls, a vast open landscape stretching as far as the eye can see. The only sounds are the wind rushing across the grasslands, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of an animal. At night, the only light comes from the stars and a crackling fire. This is where our story begins. We didn't start with grand cathedrals or soaring skyscrapers. We didn't even start with houses. We started with a simple, powerful instinct for shelter. A place to be safe from the rain, a shield from the biting wind, a refuge from the predators that roamed the night. The very first architecture wasn't designed, it was discovered. It was found in the deep, quiet embrace of a cave. Caves were our first homes, nature's own architecture. Think about it, a solid roof over your head, walls that can't be pushed over, a single entrance that's easy to defend. Inside, the world outside fades away. The temperature is stable, the darkness is comforting, and the echoes of your own movements create a sense of place. It's here, in these natural stone wombs, that we first experienced what it meant to have a home. It wasn't just a physical space, it was a psychological anchor, a place of safety, a center to our world. These ancient cave dwellers were the first interior designers. They chose the driest spots for sleeping, the areas with the best airflow for their fires. The walls of these caves became the first canvases, covered in paintings that tell stories of hunts, of spirits, of the world as they saw it. This wasn't just survival. This was the beginning of culture, born from the security that shelter provided. The cave was more than a rock formation. It was a sanctuary where families could gather, share food, and pass down knowledge. It was the heart of the community. But we are a restless species, always moving, always adapting. As we ventured out of the caves and into new territories, we had to learn to build our own shelter. We became architects of necessity. We used what the land gave us, fallen branches woven together, mammoth bones forming a sturdy frame, animal skins stretched tight to keep out the elements. We packed mud and clay into walls that would bake hard in the sun. These first man-made structures were humble, often circular huts. Why circular? A circle is a strong, efficient shape. It encloses the most space with the least amount of material and has no weak corners. More importantly, it's a shape that brings people together. Picture a group of people sitting inside one of these huts. Everyone is facing the center, usually where the fire is. There's no head at the table, no place of higher status. It's a design of equality, of community. It encourages conversation, storytelling, and a shared sense of belonging. This is communal living at its most fundamental. The creation of these simple huts was a revolutionary step. For the first time, we weren't just finding shelter, we were creating it. We were shaping our environment to meet our needs. This act of building did something profound to our minds. It taught us to plan, to cooperate, and to think about the future. You have to gather the materials, figure out how to put them together, and work with others to lift and secure the heavy parts. Building a home became a community project, strengthening the bonds between people. And inside these structures, a new concept began to form. The room, a designated space for a specific purpose. Maybe a small area was sectioned off for storing food, keeping it safe and dry. Another spot, farthest from the entrance, was reserved for sleeping. This simple act of dividing space was the dawn of domestic life. It organized our daily routines and, in doing so, organized our society. The idea of inside versus outside became more defined. Inside was the safe, controlled world of the family. Outside was the wild, unpredictable world of nature. This fundamental division is still with us today. Every time you walk through your front door, you are reenacting this ancient ritual of moving from the public world to your private sanctuary. The emotional need for that safety, for a place that is uniquely yours, is a direct inheritance from our earliest ancestors. It's a need that is woven into our DNA. We don't just build houses to protect our bodies, we build them to soothe our minds. A home is our anchor in a chaotic world. So, when did architecture truly begin? Was it with the first stone set upon another, the first roof raised against the sky? Or was it earlier? Perhaps architecture began the very moment a human first looked at a natural overhang and thought, "This is where I am safe." The moment we stopped seeing the world as just a landscape and started seeing it as a collection of potential places. Places to live, places to gather, places to become who we are. It's a powerful idea. Architecture isn't just about buildings. It's about the human desire to create a place for ourselves in the universe. It's about the choice of where to belong. Before the pyramids, before the Parthenon, before any great monument, there was this simple, profound act of choosing a spot and calling it home. That is the true foundation of all architecture. It began not with a hammer or a chisel, but with a feeling of needing a place to be. And that feeling has driven us to build ever since. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to the very beginning. If you found this story of our origins fascinating, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. In our next episode, we'll see how this need for belonging transforms into a desire for permanence. As we explore the first monumental structures that aim to last forever. We'll see you then. Welcome back to our journey through the story of architecture. In our last episode, we huddled in caves and simple huts. Today, we step out into the blazing sun of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, where something truly monumental is about to happen. Feel the warm desert wind, hear the slow footsteps in the sand. This is where buildings stop being just shelters and start reaching for eternity. We're about to witness the birth of architecture as a language of power, faith, and a message sent across millennia. Imagine standing at the foot of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's not just a pile of stones, it's a declaration. The ancient Egyptians believed in an afterlife more real and enduring than life itself. So, how do you build for forever? You build with stone, the most permanent material you can find. The pyramids weren't just tombs, they were machines for resurrection. Architecture designed to secure immortality for the pharaoh. Their perfect, stable shape points to the sky, a permanent feature in a shifting landscape, designed to last as long as the stars themselves. It's a powerful statement. We are here, and we will be here forever. This quest for eternity required a new way of thinking. You can't just stack stones and hope for the best when you're building on this scale. This is where geometry is born, not in a classroom, but on the dusty construction sites of the Nile. The precision is mind-boggling. The sides of the Great Pyramid are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions. Its base is almost a perfect square. This isn't just good craftsmanship. It's a reflection of a belief in a cosmic order, or mat. Symmetry and geometry weren't just for looks. They were a way to mirror the perfection of the heavens on earth, creating a sacred space where the divine and mortal could meet. Now, let's travel east to the Fertile Crescent, to the land between the rivers, Mesopotamia. Here, another type of colossal structure dominates the skyline, the ziggurat. Unlike the pyramids, ziggurats were not tombs. They were massive stepped platforms with a temple on top. Think of them as man-made mountains, stairways to heaven. In the flat river valley, the ziggurat created a high place, lifting the temple closer to the gods who were believed to dwell in the sky. It was the center of the city, a visible link between the human world and the divine realm. Worshippers would ascend its grand staircases on a symbolic journey, leaving the everyday world behind to approach the sacred. The materials tell a different story here. Unlike the stone-rich Egyptians, the Mesopotamians built with what they had in abundance, mud and clay. They formed millions of mud bricks, dried them in the sun, and built their monumental ziggurats, because these bricks were less durable than stone. The structures needed constant maintenance and rebuilding, a cyclical process that mirrored the cycles of agriculture and life in the river valley. The ziggurat wasn't a static monument to a single ruler's afterlife, but a dynamic, ever-evolving heart of the community, serving generations of worshippers. So, what do these two incredible forms of architecture tell us? They show that for the first time, buildings were being used to express powerful ideas. In Egypt, architecture was about permanence and the individual's journey to the afterlife. The pyramid was a private monument, sealed and silent. In Mesopotamia, architecture was about community and the ongoing relationship with the gods. The ziggurat was a public stage for religious ritual, open and active. In both cultures, the sheer scale of these projects was a display of power. It took immense organization, resources, and a huge workforce to build them. The ruler who could command such a project was clearly favored by the gods and held absolute authority. These structures were the original skyscrapers, marvels of engineering that dominated their landscapes. They oriented people, giving them a sense of place and a shared identity. Standing in the shadow of a pyramid or a ziggurat, you knew who was in charge and what your society valued most. It was a form of communication more powerful than any written script. It was architecture as propaganda, as a prayer, as a promise of order in a chaotic world. And this is perhaps the most profound legacy of this era. Buildings became more than just functional spaces. They became carriers of meaning, messages encoded in stone and mud brick. The pyramids sent a message of eternal life to the future. The ziggurats sent a message of devotion to the heavens. They are a testament to human ambition, our deep-seated need to create something that outlasts us, to leave a mark and tell our story to those who come after. They prove that from the very beginning, we have built not just to live, but to dream. What an incredible leap forward. From temporary shelters to permanent monuments that have survived for over 4,000 years, we've seen architecture become a tool for kings and priests, a way to organize society and shape belief. We've witnessed the birth of engineering, geometry, and the very idea that a building can speak. Join us next time as we travel to ancient Greece, where the quest for divine order takes a new form, and architecture finds a new voice in logic, reason, and the celebration of human potential. We'll explore the temples of the Acropolis and uncover the secrets of the classical orders. It's going to be fascinating. Welcome back to our journey through the history of architecture. In this episode, we're sailing back in time, listening to the gentle crash of ocean waves and the distant, beautiful sound of a lyre. We've arrived in ancient Greece, a place where architecture wasn't just about building, it was philosophy carved in stone. For the ancient Greeks, every structure was a quest for perfection, a search for that divine balance between humanity and the cosmos. They believed beauty wasn't just a feeling, but a measurable idea, a set of principles that could be discovered and applied to create harmony on earth. Join us as we explore how the Greeks turned marble into masterpieces. We'll start with the very foundation of their architectural language, the columns. These weren't just simple supports, they were characters in a grand story. First, there's the Doric column, strong, simple, and masculine. It's the oldest and most straightforward, with a plain capital and no base, representing pure, unadorned strength. You see it on the Parthenon, standing firm and powerful. It's the strong, silent type of the architectural world, a testament to endurance and stability. Then, we encounter the Ionic column. It's more slender, more graceful, and easily recognizable by its volutes, those scroll-like ornaments on its capital. The Ionic is often seen as more feminine, elegant, and sophisticated. It speaks of intellect and artistry. It has a base, giving it a sense of lightness, as if it's just touching the ground. If the Doric is a stoic warrior, the Ionic is a refined scholar or a graceful dancer, adding a touch of elegance to buildings like the Erechtheion on the Acropolis. Finally, we arrive at the Corinthian column, the most ornate and elaborate of the three. Its capital is a breathtaking explosion of acanthus leaves and scrolls, a true celebration of nature and decorative art. The Corinthian is lavish, luxurious, and was often used in Roman architecture, who admired its opulence. It's the showstopper, designed to impress and inspire. Or think of it as the grand finale of Greek column design, a symbol of wealth, prosperity, and artistic flair that would echo through centuries of design. But these columns were just the vocabulary. The real poetry was written in how they were assembled. Let's talk about the temples. Structures like the Parthenon aren't just buildings, they are mathematical poems. The Greeks were obsessed with proportion and used complex mathematical formulas like the golden ratio to ensure every single element was in perfect harmony with every other. From the height of the columns to the width of the steps, everything was calculated to create an illusion of perfection for the human eye. They even used clever optical illusions. For instance, the columns of the Parthenon actually bulged slightly in the middle, a technique called enthesis, to make them appear perfectly straight from a distance. The platform the temple sits on is slightly curved, rising in the center, so that it doesn't look like it's sagging. It's an incredible feat of engineering and artistry, all designed to achieve a visual ideal of balance and straightness. It's architecture that's alive, that breathes and interacts with our perception. It wasn't just about building something stable. It was about building something that felt perfect. This quest for harmony wasn't just for the gods, it was for the people, too. The Greeks invented the idea of public space as a cornerstone of a functioning society. The agora, or marketplace, wasn't just for commerce, it was the heart of the city, a place for debate, for politics, for philosophy to unfold in the open air. The design of these spaces, with their open colonnades and shaded walkways, encouraged interaction and community. Architecture was directly linked to the birth of democracy. It created the stage upon which citizens could gather, discuss, and shape their own destinies. Think about the theaters, carved into hillsides with incredible acoustics that allowed an actor's whisper to be heard by thousands. These were not just for entertainment. They were civic institutions where the community came together to experience shared stories and emotions. The gymnasium, the stoa, the council chambers, all of these spaces were designed with the public in mind, fostering a sense of belonging and shared identity. The Greeks understood that the way we shape our cities shapes our lives and our politics. A city designed for people is a city where democracy can thrive. So, what is the ultimate legacy of Greek architecture? It's the idea that beauty is not random. It's a rational, measurable concept, a harmony that can be achieved through reason and mathematics. They gave us a blueprint for creating spaces that feel not just impressive, but right. They taught us that a building can be more than shelter. It can be an expression of our highest ideals: balance, order, reason, and community. Their search for perfection was a philosophical pursuit, an attempt to bring the divine order of the cosmos down to earth. The architecture of ancient Greece is a conversation between logic and beauty, strength and elegance. It's a pursuit of harmony that has never really ended. From the grand columns of Washington, D.C., to the banks and universities in your own city, the principles born on those sunny Greek hillsides are still with us, shaping our world in ways we might not even notice. It's a reminder that great design isn't just about what you see, it's about what you feel. It's the enduring quest for harmony. Thank you so much for joining me on this leg of our journey. I hope you've enjoyed our exploration of ancient Greece. In our next episode, we'll see how these ideas were taken, transformed, and amplified by the next great empire. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. See you next time.